Alright, hello guys. We should be live right now. We're going to be talking about some severe weather today for Florida, Georgia, and a bit of South Carolina as well. The potential is high, and then the risk is moderately low, or I would say to about a medium chance that we do see some action today. And that's how it was the other day too when we saw the Tennessee tornado. So that does not mean that we're out of danger at all whatsoever. I don't think it's going to be too widespread today, but we might see some areas get some pretty bad weather here. That's what the day is looking like today. And I understand that a lot of people are at school today. A lot of people are at work at this time of day. So we're expecting the viewership to be moderately low comparatively to when I do it in the evening. But hopefully if you do live in these regions, you can be a part of the stream because we're going to be talking about the weather and the severe weather coming up for a lot of these areas. So just to go over the risk here today, you can see we have no tornado warnings or severe thunderstorm warnings at this point. So we're going to turn off the radar for just a second, just so I can talk about generally the risk that we're looking at today. So we're going to first talk about our categorical outlook in our dark green area. That's where we're having a marginal risk. That's what we call that. It's moderately low. We probably won't see very much widespread weather, like I said before, or widespread severe weather. Mostly going to be kind of more marginal is a really good word, actually, just to describe it, I would say. But in this area here, in the yellow area, we do have a slight risk, and this includes Jacksonville, Valdosta or Valdosta, Waycross as well as Lake City there, Brunswick, Georgia, Jessup, St. Mary's, and looks like that's on the Georgia side. So we have a few bigger towns here included. Tallahassee, or just outside of the slight risk. So also you're, pretty close to the slight risk as well. It's going to be an interesting day today because, again, the risk is high, or I guess the potential, but then the chance is pretty moderated below that. Let's see. Somebody said howdy. Somebody said hello. Hey guys, how's it going? Sarah Danielle said, hey, favorite YouTube channel. Thank you so much. It means the world. Somebody said they're from Jonesboro, Georgia. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully we can keep you guys informed with what's going on with these thunderstorms. I figured there is some chance for severe weather today, obviously, but at the very least, it'll be an opportunity for me to just interact with you guys at the very least today. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that hail probability is looking like. And generally in this light green area, we're looking at a 5% chance within 25 miles of a given location. So really, the chance is pretty low for hail, and that actually looks like the least likely severe weather implication that we will have. So hail isn't looking very likely today. We could have some, but really not looking like a big hail day. Whereas a couple days ago up for Kentucky, Tennessee, and Missouri and Arkansas, we did have a big hail day where we had kind of moderate wind risk. Today we have more of a high wind risk and then less of the hail risk. So you can see we have that 5% chance within the green area there. And that's pretty much just a general risk of some damaging winds. And then within this yellow area, we have more of an elevated risk for damaging winds. 15% chance within 25 miles of a given location. So looking a little bit more likely within this yellow area, which again includes Waycross, Valdosta, Jacksonville, St. Mary's, Brunswick, and Waycross as well. So a lot of bigger towns in this as well. And then let's go ahead and look at that tornado risk, and it pretty much covers the same area as the wind risk. We have a 2% chance risk within this green area. Tallahassee, Albany, Douglas might be in the 5%. We see Gainesville within our 2% area, Palm Coast there. Let's see if we have any other areas. Keystone Heights, Stark. Let's go up to the Georgia side. Hazelhurst, Hinesville, we see Fitzgerald, Tifton, Ashburn, and then again Albany as well. Let's move over to this side. We see Tallahassee is within our 2% chance. So we do have some bigger towns within the 2% chance. And then for our yellow area, which is our 5% chance of tornadoes, we have Jacksonville, Waycross, Valdosta, Brunswick as well, St. Mary's again, or St. Mary's. Let's see if we have anything over here. Live Oak, Lake City, Madison, Jasper, all of these regions are within our 5% risk. So if you're kind of picking up on this, our biggest risk there is going to be for southeast Georgia and northeast Florida for all of the severe weather implications here. So let's go ahead and turn off our risk and turn back on our radar. Let's look at some of these thunderstorms that are developing right now. And also what I'm going to go ahead and do at the same time is we're going to look at our meso analysis here. And what this is going to tell us is how much instability we have in some of these areas. And that's going to be a good thing to look at because it's going to tell us pretty much where we're expecting the most development from this point forward. Also, another thing we can do, you can see we have most of our convective available potential energy is down on the Florida side. So this is where we expect the most development at the moment. Oh, we can also take a look at our mesoscale discussions and see if there is any of this. I don't think, as of last time I checked, there was not a mesoscale discussion. It does not look like we have one right now either. Right, okay, so we do not have a mesoscale discussion, and we don't have any watches either, which is generally good news. So most of our CAPE is down here on the Florida side. And up here in Georgia, we generally just have thunderstorms that probably came down from the area with CAPE and has moved up. If I put this into motion, you can see that the general direction is heading northeastward here. But we see this thunderstorm development beginning down here for this Florida end. Let's take a look down here at our Tallahassee radar site. And this is probably going to tell a better story of these thunderstorms up here near Monticello, Tallahassee, Thomasville, right here near the Georgia border there. Also on our meso analysis, we can look at our surface instability. This is another tool. So we generally have some all over the place. Let's see. We have a lot of other tools here. Yeah, so generally, Florida is looking to have the most potential here at the current moment. Right. Yeah, so I think down here on our Florida side, as of right now, this is where we have the highest chance for severe weather. Georgia, a little bit less, but I think as these storms move from Florida in through Georgia, that's where we're going to see a lot of this development begin. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I want to share this link out to a lot of other of my social medias here, just so we can get people in here that aren't aware of it. But be sure to like it. That does a lot for just the algorithm and sharing it with people. So that's always a way you can do your part. We're also going to take a zoomed in look at this cell down here, which looks like it might be trying to become a little bit of a supercell, but I think it might just be a false hook echo there. But that one's definitely looking quite potent, and that one's just to the northeast of Tallahassee currently. We're currently doing severe weather live coverage. Come join us. That's what I'm going to post. I'm kind of one of those people that if I say it out loud and type it, or if I'm typing it, I have to say it out loud, so on and so forth. All right. And then I'm also going to share that to my Twitter real quick. But yes, this cell right now is looking the most concerning to me. But also we have a lot of these cells down here developing in Florida. Let's see if we can't switch to our Jacksonville radar. This might actually tell us a bigger story with these ones as well, which is going to be rather helpful. We have a lot of radar sites down here in Florida and Georgia, so that's making it really easy to work with here. All right, so I'm going to go back and check some of these comments as well. I'm only going to be live for maybe an hour or two today, just in case anybody was wondering. I think that the risk will generally be gone by the time we're reaching about 3 p.m. and beyond. That's when our risk is going to be coming to an end, pretty much. Thanks everybody who liked the stream. I really appreciate it. So we are going to take a closer look in here at some of these cells. This one near Brunswick also is kind of concerning looking, as well as this one down to the south, just near the coast. I want to take a look at that velocity, and this tells a lot about the rotation that we can see within these cells. What I want to do is it being in motion is kind of bothering me. Okay, let's see. So we have some general rotation right here. What we can also do is storm relative velocity, which ignores it kind of ignores the storm motion and just tells us exactly what's happening up in the sky, basically. Because sometimes this calculates the storm motion when you look at just the base velocity, just like that. So what we like to do is look at that storm relative, and it tells the better story, I guess, or the bigger story. We do have some general rotation going on in here, just to the east of Kingsland. So this one's obviously looking a little bit concerning there. I'm gonna put my phone there where I can see the comments. I put it a little further away, so it's not right in my face. Let's take a look at some of these other cells that look kind of concerning. Maybe that one up there. We'll switch to the... Is there a Savannah radar? No. Where's that one? Oh, right there. We'll take a look further north in just a second. Let's take a look at some of these. So generally this one, this one, this one. They're outside of the main area of convective available potential energy. So what this really tells me is probably not going to be seeing too much further development in a lot of these that are up north, and that's typically how things would go. Let's take a look near Beaufort, Savannah, Walterboro. These are areas that the risk is a little bit decreased. It's not as high as the areas that are in the slight risk, but still we need to pay attention because sometimes things happen outside the main risk area. But really, it just looks like some general showers up here as I put it in motion. Yeah, probably just not humid enough, not warm enough here as we head further north. So there's probably a clean cutoff line for our main area of concerning thunderstorms. I'm going to move back down to Tallahassee here for just a moment. I feel like this is going to be a cell that we're going to be watching closely. This one up in between Thomasville and Tallahassee here, just to the north of Interstate 10 there. Even some of these that are in Tallahassee are quite concerning. I haven't looked at the rotation on this one yet, so we're going to go ahead and take a look. Oh yeah, we do have some rotation there. So this one's probably a real hook echo, obviously. Within there has some rotation that's going to need to be watched closely as we move forward. It looks like it has a cell up to its north as well. It's kind of integrated. So this is what happens when you look at the base velocity. You can't really get much information from this. It's when we switch over to our storm relative velocity. This is when we get to see the bigger picture. There's our main area of rotation. Let me find that. Maybe somewhere in here I'm going to be watching for more rotation as well. Yeah, we do have some right there as well. So some broad rotation, not too concerning yet. Obviously means bad news. Probably down the road we might see this come together or fizzle out. It can go either way. Arrived said, hi guys, Albany, New York here. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for being a part of the stream. Even though you don't live in the regions impacted here, it's great to see people just wanting to be a part of the stream. Again, if you like it, you can do your part. That helps the algorithm figure out, what streams to suggest to people. I have the hashtags for Tallahassee, Jacksonville, all these. I've picked a lot of the big cities to just put in the hashtag so that it reaches out to more people from these areas. But we still need the interaction to get that going. So that's why it's always important that you guys like the streams. It can really save people's lives if we do see any tornado type situations here, which again is possible today. Not very likely, but definitely possible. I'm going to be here with you guys through a part of the afternoon here, just keeping track of all of these thunderstorms. Ocala, Florida, just found your channel. Thank you so much for joining the stream. Ocala, I haven't heard of there. Oh, I see. Okay, so you're in between Leesburg and Gainesville. Okay. Yeah, we're going to be keeping track of even Central Florida here, so rest assured I'll be going over that if you stick with us here. I'll be trying to generally keep track of all the areas impacted by these storms here. St. Augustine, Florida, welcome to the stream. It looks like we have some development going on in northern Florida here. Actually, I want to switch to this Jacksonville site because it looks like we have a little bit of a pop-up thunderstorm. We call these pulse thunderstorms, these really quick developing thunderstorms that are generally really small. And it looks like we have one of those just outside of the Jacksonville area here. Wow, that really developed quickly. And I'll just check rotation. Typically, these types of storms don't have much, but we will take a look at that. And yeah, so generally no rotation within that, but definitely a pulse thunderstorm we'll have to watch. And if we set tracks on, we can't get a track for that one. Let me see if I can't. Let's see if we can draw on this. Will it let us? Usually I can. Okay, this feature isn't working right now, but usually I can track these just to give you guys a general direction. What I'll do is I actually have this little tool in here where I can paint. So we're gonna watch this one, and it's generally gonna be heading in this direction, just outside of Jacksonville, to the northeast. So we'll be watching this one closely, but as of right now, this one doesn't look to have too much severe weather implications, thankfully. So I'll go ahead and finish that. Well, I have to delete it first. So otherwise, that's going to stick with us. But yes, this one is going to be heading northeastward, and I don't think it'll head into the Jacksonville area directly. We might see some development here on the very eastern edge of this thunderstorm if it wants to become more of a line of thunderstorms. Jillian Rodriguez said, hello from Savannah. How's it going? I'm going to be keeping track of these thunderstorms for you. Up in Savannah, what was the radar site? Oh, here we go. I'll let you know what our conditions look like in Savannah right now. If anybody lives in the impacted regions, you can just shout your area out, and I'll go ahead and take a look for you guys at where you're at. We do have a Discord. If you check the description, you can go ahead and join that. That was Cody was asking that. So generally in Savannah right now, we are seeing some development just to your south down there in Montgomery. This looks like general just showers. You might be seeing some thunder. But right along Interstate 95, we do have some showers that are getting heavier and gaining some steam. We just got done raining quite moderately in Savannah. You can confirm that if you'd like, but it looks like we just had some showers, and it looks like we might get another line. But as of right now, those aren't looking like thunderstorms, really. Let's go ahead and look at some of our more concerning cells that we were taking a look at earlier. Just to the north of Jacksonville, there looked like to be some cells that had a lot of potential here. So we'll take another look at that. Okay, so this one looks to be gaining some steam, and this one's heading towards Brunswick. It's just to the north of Woodbine. We're going to watch this one closely because it has a little bit of a kink to it that we usually don't like to see. There's also some in the surrounding areas that look kind of concerning. And another concerning thing, just to add more to it, this is our general area where we're expecting the best chance for supercell development there within that yellow region. So we are seeing things gain some steam there within that region. So what I'm going to do is switch to our velocity again, which again shows us the rotation, and the good news is it doesn't look like we have too much of that rotation right now. So we're going to be watching that one closely. Up to our north, we have another cell that looks quite concerning, but it looks multicellular, and that's another type of thunderstorm that we generally don't see too much rotation in, which again is good news. There is some down here, but really I would just be looking for strong winds just to the west of Darien there, just to the west of Interstate 95 actually, and even in it, in those purple shades, we're actually looking at quite a heavy amount of wind. I'm surprised there's not a severe thunderstorm warning right there for that one, because that actually looks like we have some pretty hefty winds going on right there. Let's look at some of the comments here. Mike Town said, hello from Charleston, South Carolina. Hello, how's it going? You're just to the north of our main severe weather risk area. I will take a look for you what our general weather looks like for you right now. It looks like our closest radar site is near Interstate 95. So we'll take a look at that for you here. Is the audio okay? Is there any lag? Let me know. Give me feedback on how we're looking right now. If there's anything wrong, I can pretty much fix it. But it looks like we're good as of right now. Yep, looks like everything's going great. Charleston, it looks like we're having some general showers. We see these yellows and greens. We have very high resolution radar here. at Direct Weather right now, which is obviously very fortunate. As a weather geek, I love having these tools available to me, and you guys support that because obviously you guys watch the videos. That's how I make my money. So this is the only reason why I'm able to afford cool stuff like this. So you guys basically fuel my addiction to weather, which I love, obviously. Jillian Rodriguez says, you sound great. Thank you for the feedback. Hopefully there's no lag issues or anything as well. Hi from Toledo, Ohio. Thanks for the great day. Thanks, Larry, for the kind words. Sophie said, nothing wrong with the sound. Screeston, sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, said, I enjoy your forecasts. Good sound. Thank you for the feedback. But generally down there in Charleston, I love Charleston, by the way. I've been there. Beautiful city. What a wonderful historic town. I love walking through the neighborhoods and just looking at all the houses. Interesting buildings in Charleston, and I absolutely love it. It's a happy place. That's how I would describe it. But we have these yellows and darker greens indicating the areas of heavier showers, but really not thunderstorms yet or anything to worry about. But some pretty steady rain coming down, especially in those more yellows and darker green regions. Again, if anybody wants to shout out their regions, I can go ahead and give you guys kind of an in-depth look at your weather, just like I did for Charleston. I haven't taken a look up here at near Macon. Excuse me. I'm going to take a look up here further north in central Georgia. We are expecting the chance for thunderstorms up here, but oh, okay. Well, we do have some thunderstorms actually developing quite far north, further north than what I expected. I want to turn our convective available potential energy back on. It's gonna help us. Cochran, Georgia. I don't know where that is. I feel like I always don't know where somewhere is, and it's actually on my screen, and I can see it. I'm not very familiar with towns in Georgia. Generally, here near Macon, we're actually gonna have some thunderstorms moving into the very I would say western edge, right there where 475 and 75 connect there. So let's see, in between Forsyth and Macon, I would say we're going to have thunderstorms moving through these, and also near Barnesville and Thomaston. We have generally heavier showers bordering on thunderstorms here. Generally, where we see these reds popping up is where it's, thunderstorms. Sometimes in the orange, you'll see thunder here and there, but really the reds is what we're looking for. I made this color table, so I made it custom to where I'm able to really be able to identify what kind of conditions we're looking at here. So it's really neat to have a program where you can actually make the colors the way you want them to be. It helps me be able to just recognize what's going on. Let's move a little bit further north to Peachtree City, right in between Atlanta and Peachtree City. We'll look at the general Atlanta area as well. Red Pill Sweetie Pie said, thank you for covering middle Georgia. Thank you so much for watching the stream. And up near in between Gainesville, Georgia, and then Atlanta, really the greater Atlanta area and then surrounding regions to the northwest and east, it looks like generally showers. Again, yellows indicating areas of just moderate rain. Here near Gainesville and areas further north in Georgia, I would say the northeastern side of Georgia, we are looking at, I would say, heavier showers, bordering on potential thunderstorms, just because we're seeing the oranges pop up a little bit there. Let's see. If we move towards Alabama, it looks like we might even have some thunderstorms in Alabama, so I'll take a look at that near in between Montgomery and LaGrange, Georgia. I don't know how you say that, but I decided to put a French twist on it. Columbus, Georgia. They're looking at a thunderstorm probably rolling through, if not a very heavy shower. And then down to the south of Hurtsboro, we do have another one there near Omaha, Georgia. And that's generally what we're looking at right now. But as you can see, this is our convective available potential energy, and this is what we look for thunderstorm and severe weather development, and none of it is in Georgia, Alabama, and we have a little bit maybe for South Carolina. So really, I'm thinking Florida is where we're going to see most of the development for thunderstorms. Cochran just below Warner Robin. Okay. If I can find. Okay. I see. I'll take a look here at your area. Again, it's been a while since I reminded you guys. Be sure to like the stream. It does more than you would think to just help the algorithm suggest the video to people who are in the impacted regions. I suspect we're going to see some severe thunderstorm warnings soon, and maybe even a tornado warning or two. So it is really important that people are informed, because these slight risk days are the ones that people underestimate, just like they did in Nashville. I feel like it wasn't as mainstream as it could have been, and really it was just unfortunate because a lot of people didn't know severe weather was coming. So for your area in, okay, I see. Is it Cochran or Cochran? I don't know how to say it. But we have some general showers. It's probably sprinkling if you're on the south side or the east side. And we have a heavier shower down there a little bit further south. It looks like some farmland down there. That might turn into a thunderstorm just to your east. But we do have these thunderstorms down to the south near Vienna, Pineview, Cordell, and that's generally going to be moving in your direction in the next 30 minutes or an hour. I would say by about 3 p.m. we would see those thunderstorms arriving for Cochrane. So let's see. Falcon Gaming just dropped in, loving your videos. It's already super windy in Jacksonville. Yep, if you stick with us, we're going to be covering the thunderstorms that are going to move into Jacksonville. I'll actually take a look at Jacksonville in just a second. Actually, right now we can. So let's turn off our convective available potential energy. All I wanted to show is that we have a lot of potential for thunderstorm development down here in Florida as we move through the afternoon and into the early evening. We're already seeing these thunderstorms, especially down here, developing. We're seeing more yellows pop up, more reds, even more greens in some areas. So this just shows that the CAPE, or the convective available potential energy, is a really good indicator, and that's why I use it so much, because it's a great indicator of where we could see thunderstorm development generally. So for the greater Jacksonville area, Orange Park, Jacksonville Beach, Palm Valley, all these areas, we do have that thunderstorm moving through. Again, that pulse thunderstorm we were talking about a little bit earlier, and it's moving through the north side of Jacksonville there. I want to see if I can get a name on this neighborhood. No. But generally the very northern side of Jacksonville, just underneath 295, where it converges with, what interstate is that? Yeah, just where 295 meets with 95 there. That's where we're about to see this thunderstorm move over. And that has some heavier rains in it. We can actually take a look. This is another interesting feature we have here. If we switch to level 3, we can actually see how much precipitation has fallen, which is another really, really cool feature here. I might need to switch to 1 hour precipitation. Let's see if we can't get this information here. I don't use this tool a lot, so... near Darien. I will in a second. Is Darien in... Where's Darien? Is that right there? No. Is Darien in Georgia or Florida? If you let me know, that would help. Let's see if I can't get this precipitation on screen. Usually these pulse thunderstorms, these little ones that pop up, can be really potent, actually. Like, surprisingly potent little thunderstorms here. I want to get this information on screen if I can. That's not it. Oh, well, it looks like just general... Yeah, so this one hasn't been too heavy. We can see our little tracks of thunderstorms. Some of these ones up near Brunswick are dropping half an inch to almost an inch of rain. Same story from the ones near Waycross heading up towards south of Savannah. So we've seen a lot of precipitation there in the past hour. And actually, to my surprise, this one near Jacksonville hasn't dropped a lot of precipitation whatsoever. Let's get back to our general radar here. So yeah, just a heavier little thunderstorm here. Even some pinks showing up, so really high precipitation little pulse cell there. Darien up in Georgia. Was it Darien? Yeah, I can't find Darien. Maybe if you could shout out some other towns, it would help me. I always have trouble finding these areas. Let me move back to the Tallahassee radar because I'm actually going to take a look at these cells in between Tallahassee and Valdosta. Valdosta. A lot of these towns I don't know how to say at all. More rain for Jackson tonight. It really just depends how quickly these thunderstorms get out of here. With the amount of cape that's below you, I would say there's a chance. There's a chance that we do see some thunderstorms through the evening and maybe into the early or late evening, actually. So these cells down here, I just want to check the rotation again because I always want to be on the lookout for some of these turning into supercells. It looks like none of these are as of right now. Even though there's some broad rotation within that one near Monticello, Florida, and maybe some of those up to the north if I check the reflectivity again. But really, not looking at too much tornadic activity yet, or even the potential for tornadic activity yet. So that's probably gonna have to wait for later. Southeast Georgia, you said? Yeah, I was gonna get to it. So it's on this radar site. Oh, here we go. Okay, Darien. North of Brunswick there. Is it this one? I'll check both. That's acting up. Let's see here. Darien. Is it the cell south of Darien? I'll have to check, but really, none of these look super intense yet as far as rotation. Yeah, we do see some broad rotation. I guess right here, if that's a little hook echo, maybe in this area. We'll have to wait and see. As of right now, no severe thunderstorm warnings and no tornado warnings. So we're doing good so far as underperforming, which obviously is a good thing if it underperforms. Let's go ahead and check out right here. And we do see some thunderstorm development taking place near Lake Park. These ones are getting a little bit more intense as time moves on. Near Morven and heading towards Interstate 75. Adel, Cecile, Hahira. That's a really tough one to say. I want to look at the hail, this is called our mean estimated hail size, and this gives us a good idea of how much hail we're seeing, and we are actually seeing some near Morven, just to the north of Morven. We can probe this and see how large, maybe ½ an inch diameter hail being picked up in the air. I don't know if this is reaching the ground, but interesting to see some hail falling within these. In that heavier precipitation there, so not very surprising. We weren't expecting a big hail day today, though. If you're just joining the stream, be sure to like it. That helps it reach more people. It's done a good job so far, obviously, as we're getting more and more viewers that are living in these regions, which is obviously good news because I like to be able to keep people informed. That's the whole point of these. And I've been enjoying covering these severe weather events with you guys, actually. It's been a lot of fun just being able to, deep dive, take a look at these cells. Even I'm learning more stuff as I just kind of deep dive into these individual little thunderstorms. It's been great just having a purpose and a reason to do this. Because before I would do it just out of my love for weather. But now I actually have a really good reason. And obviously that was a good reason too. But now it's kind of like my job, so... and I'm thankful for that. I mean, you guys make that possible for me. And again, you guys fuel my weather addiction. So, and I love situations like this. Just a general thunderstorm day, not looking life-threatening, but we get to watch these thunderstorms develop and just give everybody an idea at the type of weather they could be expecting. This one's looking quite intense up here. What I'm really excited for is when we get kind of the more intense risks where we see the enhanced, moderate, or even high-risk events. I'll be pulling all-nighters if we see high-risk days or even moderate-risk days, so that's going to be intense. And I expect we had a moderate-risk event in January, and we had over 600 or 700 viewers in it, so I'm expecting very big streams when we have moderate and high-risk events, which I'm very much so looking forward to being able to interact with you guys. like that. It's very exciting for me. Uh, there is some rotation right here that I'm watching. Nah. Nah. Sometimes you look back at reflectivity and you're just like, nah, it's probably not going to be anything. Uh, Sophie Norris said she loves weather too. There is a lot of people that watch my channel and watch their streams that just have an extreme love for weather. And, before I did this YouTube thing, I thought I was alone. I didn't know that there were so many people that enjoyed weather like I do. And it's been really cool getting to know a lot of you. A lot of people come back for the streams a lot. I see a lot of people that, frequently are in my live streams. And I love seeing the regulars like that. That's the people that I want to make mods and stuff a lot of the time. Let's see here. Let's check what's going on. I haven't checked anywhere near Tampa or Orlando. Where do we have radar sites? We'll check both of these just to make sure there's no thunderstorms developing further south in Florida that we don't know about. This is a program called WSV3. I just have it zoomed in right now to look really nice, but if you could see like up above where you're seeing where I keep going up there, that's kind of where you would see that it's WSV3. It's a program you can get on your computer for $25 a month. So you can search that up. It's WSV3. Highly recommend the program if you can afford it. We'll move to Tallahassee again here. I asked a question in one of my videos. If you guys keep up with the daily uploads, you'd probably know that I do these questions in a lot of my videos now. I asked, what is the most memorable tornado in your opinion? So I want to ask again, what do you guys think the most memorable tornado is in recent memory? Like, if you think of major tornado, what do you think of? What is the first one that comes to mind? For me, it's El Reno. It's always fascinated me, that one a lot particularly, but I want to know what you guys think. I heard a lot of people say Joplin, or which isn't surprising, obviously, and I heard more as well. But it was really interesting to hear of the ones that I haven't heard of from a long time ago. A lot of people were talking about ones from the 90s and 80s, and that was really neat for me because obviously I wasn't even born then. So it's been really cool for me to hear about ones that if it wasn't for me asking that question, I probably wouldn't have heard about. Gary Hayes said the June 1st, 2011 tornado in Springfield. Wow. What was that one? Gary, can you describe that one briefly? I've never heard of that one. Joplin, El Reno. So we got 2 for El Reno, 2 for Joplin there. Yeah, there is a lot of tornadoes that come to mind. Let's see. Springfield. I'm going to search it up. Massachusetts isn't really what comes to mind when I think of tornadoes, but that's really interesting. June 1st tornado. Wow. Yeah, I can't believe I've never heard of that one. 2011 was just a year of just anomalous weather. I mean, it was just weird. A lot of weird stuff happening and unusual things. It was an EF3? Or what was it? This says Massachusetts has experienced only 8 EF3 tornadoes, which actually that's higher than I would think. I'd think it's nearly impossible. What EF was it? Was it a 3? Okay. Yeah, EF3. El Reno, 1999 Moore. That's the first Moore tornado, right? Because there was 2. There was the one from before, and then the one that happened in like 2013. Yeah, 2013. More was actually our last EF5 tornado, 2013. It's been 7 years. 7 years, guys. That's insane. Generally, with how this year is going, I would say there's definitely a chance we see that record broken this year. I feel like this is a year where we could see, already Nashville getting hit with an EF3 just tells me, or is it an EF3 or an EF4 for Nashville? I've been hearing contradictory with that since the beginning of it. A lot of people saying EF3, EF4, but I don't think we've gotten an official number yet. I know, today I'm getting the feeling like we're not going to have too much happen here, thankfully, actually, as far as severe weather. I'm thankful I got to talk to you guys because that's a lot of fun, but it really does not seem like much is going to happen here. We haven't even seen a severe thunderstorm warning, which is obviously a blessing, so... Yeah, the contradiction is beginning because three people said 4, one person said 3. I saw a picture. Actually, I can pull it up on screen for you guys here while we kind of have a moment. Was it this one? Here, let me. Well, I can't find it, but it was on my phone actually. But I posted it to my Twitter and to my Facebook this morning. Some of you might have seen it, but it looked like the area of damage was very small, like very tight, and but it caused extreme damage. But you would see like one house destroyed, and then the neighbor's house looks like maybe it lost a few shingles. So the damage was the gradient of the damage was very small. It was basically night and day with the damage, and it was a very small radius. Okay, EF4. So it was originally an EF3, but now it's upgraded to an EF4. That makes sense. I want to watch this cell here. Not too much rotation in there, thankfully, so looking good. Wait, Alan Stark, actually, you were incorrect. El Reno on May 31st, 2013 was upgraded on December 30th, 2019. Really? I hadn't heard that. I hold on, I'll search it up. El Reno, just because I don't want any contradiction here. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, when I searched it up, it says EF5. The last time I looked was when I made my severe weather. I think it was basically my severe weather 2020 outlook, and I mentioned, well, I had looked at all the data for the most previous EF5s, and 2013 popped up, and it only said 1, but I know Moore and El Reno were in 2013, so that means there was 2 in 2013, but it's still been since 2013. But that's interesting. Because didn't El Reno get downgraded to an EF3 at one point? So, I mean, they're all over the place with what they're ranking that one. If they went from ranking it, I think originally it was like an EF5 or 4, and then they went down to a 3 and now back to a 5. That's very interesting. Thanks for letting me know. Because even a lot of sources, let's see. Because when you search it up, even the about page there from Safari, I'm on my phone, it says, the El Reno tornado was a very large EF3 tornado that occurred over rural areas of central Oklahoma during So, yeah. When was the last tornado? Let's see. When, yeah, so dang, EF4 in 1953 for Massachusetts. That's intense. That's a really fun fact about El Reno, though, how it's moved around so much. It's the only one that I can remember being like that, where they just cannot make up their mind about what it was ranked. Um, Let me see here. I want to look at let's see. I'm going to look at today's outlooks real quick. I want to look if they've updated the Storm Prediction Center upgraded their outlook here. SPC. I also want to see the storm reports for today. Yeah, they haven't changed their risk outlook here. Let's see. It shrunk a couple hours ago to more eastward because we had seen the storms move through already. So I just wanted to see where we're at as of right now. We do have a severe thunderstorm meso discussion. Let's see. We do have a mesoscale discussion. Let's see if this will update it and give me it. I don't think it's going to. Yeah, but generally, I'll draw on. I'm looking at it on my phone. Looks like generally for this area, right there, they have an area just like that for a mesoscale discussion saying a severe threat, including the potential for isolated tornadoes, may increase this afternoon. Watch issuance is possible. And the issuance, the probability of a tornado watch issuance is at about 60% at this point. Let's see what time they're thinking everything's going to take place. It's probably going to happen soon if anything, but we're expecting supercell development to be possible within this region very shortly. So we're getting close. I would say by about 3 p.m. we're going to be getting things underway for this region, but they think this is the highest risk region at this point from what I've just read. So Brunswick, Jacksonville, Tallahassee look to be our most major cities, and we also had, what was that city called? Lake City or whatever. So we have that region as well, and then the town right here, Valdosta or whatever. So we're seeing a lot of bigger towns here involved. Let me see. I want to finish that. Okay. Yeah, Valdosta. So all of those regions, we're looking at the potential for a tornado watch, which will increase in chance as we move forward. Florida's getting some. Tallahassee is getting some thunderstorms at the moment. I'll zoom into Tallahassee in a moment. I want to look at the storm reports from today and yesterday. I haven't checked yesterday's either. Yesterday was a weird day for me, so. Yes, we only have one severe weather report, and it's a wind report earlier today in Alabama. So we still haven't seen any severe weather here for Georgia or Florida at all today. And yesterday we had no tornadoes, thankfully. A few wind and hail reports, though, for the Deep South. So, Yep. Let's see. It looks like on the 3rd we had 2 tornadoes there for Alabama, though. For the 3rd. Technically, the Nashville one was on the 3rd, but the National Weather Service or the Storm Prediction Center on their reports, it's from like 9 or like 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. because it wants to include the night of the dates. So technically, on the report, you'll find the Nashville tornado on the 2nd, even though it was on the 3rd. So we are expecting a lot of severe weather development here. Close to the Florida and Georgia border, I would say. We're going to take a zoomed in look at Tallahassee real quickly. Let's see. It's been a strange winter. Yeah, I would say so. Definitely a strange winter. Here's your thunderstorms for Tallahassee moving through. Yeah, some little pop-up pulse thunderstorms, maybe multicellular there as well. I just want to be on the lookout for supercell development now. That's usually what I'm doing when I do these live streams. I feel like supercell type events are usually the easiest to track like this. Flood weather, it's WSV3. It's a $25 a month program that I use. Definitely seeing the potential for some hook echoes to develop in this region quite easily. Those could be kind of integrated, multicellular, but also supercell type storms. We have a gust front right here coming through Yoli, heading towards Callahan as well. It's going to be heading towards Jacksonville if it lasts that long. And a gust front, if you're not familiar, is basically just a windy little area. That's the best way I could put it. It's a little bit of a windy area that can cause some severe wind, actually. So we're going to want to watch for that. Yeah, let's see. Somebody said severe risk mostly in Florida and a few portions of Georgia. Yeah, we have most of our convective available potential energy down here in Florida. So Georgia, you're not seeing as much of the chance for the severe weather to develop over you. But if it starts in Florida, develops in Florida, and then moves over the border, that's how you're going to get your severe weather down there in Valdosta or Valdosta, areas like that. We can clearly see where our severe weather is expected at this point. I think they've really drawn it out where they think it's going to be. This one heading towards Valdosta, I'm not liking the look of. It's right over Quitman. So, yeah, definitely have a little bit of maybe a supercell trying to develop here. I would say so. Yeah. There we go. Definitely. A little bit of rotation starting up here, so I would say that's pretty much the beginning of a supercell. Almost has like 2 different little areas of hooks in there. Kind of there, but most of the rotation is down on this southern one. And that's going to be headed towards Valdosta soon, so we're going to need to watch this one closely. Let's take a look here. So this one we're going to watch very closely. Also watching the potential for some of these ones over here just underneath our radar site. Sometimes we see standalone supercells, and those are typically the ones that are the worst, but we also see what we call integrated supercells. And we can see there's a line of thunderstorms in this area, but also supercells integrated within the line. And that's what we're talking about today. I also want to check out this one because this one could become something of a supercell here near Cecil, but we're not seeing any sort of rotation right now, as well as nearby here. We're not seeing any to the south of our radar site, even though it's really close to the radar site, so it's hard to say. Maybe bits of rotation, I would say right there. If we have a cell there, we'll check though. No, we don't. Okay. But this one is maybe a very sloppy looking supercell. We'll watch it closely though, rest assured, near Valdosta. Wouldn't be surprised if we get our first severe thunderstorm warning over there though, as there is strong winds for sure. Let me check the comments here. Flood weather, I cannot do that right now, but if you search up WSV3, you'll find it. It's the first link, I promise you. Tess said, love your feed. Thank you so much. Let's see. I can't share it right now because I'd have to go do something else and kind of get distracted, which isn't fair to the other viewers that aren't asking for a link. But if you just search WSV3, you'll find it. Let's take a look. Let's put this in motion because this is going to tell us a lot about the development here. And these ones are also looking like they could become supercells, very small supercells near Folkestone and Woodbine to the north of Kingsland. South of Brunswick, these ones are looking quite potent. There's our gust front again, heading right towards Yulee. You can see that move. And again, that's going to have some heavy winds along it. Usually no precipitation, though. That's the interesting thing. Also, we saw that cell, our little pulse cell, is now out in the ocean. It is all said and done for us. We're seeing these storms rapidly develop here to the the west of Jacksonville, north of Baldwin. And this is an area that seems to have a lot of instability, as we've seen these thunderstorms develop quickly just to the west of Jacksonville, in between McClenny and Jacksonville, I would say, maybe up to the north near Callahan as well. This is an area that's looked to have a lot of instability. Folkestone, we see these thunderstorms developing quickly nearby where you're at as well, in Homeland. So we're going to have to watch these cells quickly. We're seeing things really get their act together quickly here, folks. So this situation could get very serious in a hurry. Let's move back to our Valdosta radar site here. So yeah, we do have some pretty intense thunderstorms for this area. And again, these ones kind of look like they have a hook to it. Let me put that in motion. I'm going to want to see rotation in here. I do. There is definitely rotation. This one is becoming a supercell in a hurry. If we get some of the lighter reds, and that's becoming a lot more pinpoint. You see how the reds and the greens are getting closer together as it moves north. That's never a good sign, and kind of wrapping around. And if we take a look in motion, that's right where our little hook is. So we're going to watch this one closely. And it's heading in the direction of Valdosta. Again, these ones are also looking like they could develop into something quite potent. Let's check out what's going on near Tallahassee. We've seen that line of thunderstorms kind of move to your east, so we're generally seeing an end to those nearby where you're at. Let's take one look up north, just make sure nothing crazy is happening up here. I doubt there is, but we will take a look. If we'll get it to load. Yeah, I do want this on. Let's see. This radar site not be... Okay, there we go. Yeah, we're not seeing anything too crazy except for these ones over the water, which obviously we're not too worried about at this point. So we're going to move back down to Jacksonville, where we're seeing a lot of development here just to your east, or sorry, west. I keep calling it east. These ones are going to need to be watched closely. They kind of have that look that we look out for. Yeah, definitely developing in a hurry down there. And we do get this little mesocyclone emblem there, indicating that it is seeing rotation. So we're going to watch these ones closely. Would not be surprised if we see some little tornado warnings down here. For these ones, it better safe than sorry is how I look at it. Yeah, little bits of rotation down there. Let's check out this one. If this is where that hook is, I'm going to be concerned. And it kind of is. That's generally our area. Mostly here, though, so there is some rotation on both of those. So I would say those are probably... We can safely say those are supercells in development. Up to our north, though, we see this one near Folkston. I want to see rotation in there if that's a supercell, and we really don't, so I'm going to say we're safe with that one for now. Up to the north, this one has a good V structure, so I'll check this one out again as well. This one has some broad rotation all over the place, but really not enough to put anything down, obviously. Then even to the north of that one, we have another cell here, or two, and those ones don't really have a lot of rotation, so I would say we're safe pretty much in those ones. Let's see. We're going to be watching this one heading towards Valdosta. Hopefully we get through Valdosta and there is no, tornado warning or anything like that. You mean GFS Alan Stark? What day is that for? Or when is that? We're going to be watching this develop. It's developing more of a hook just to the south of Quitman. We're seeing that mesocyclone detection show up, which is a nice tool. Very handy. Yeah, that rotation is becoming more intense in a hurry. We're going to need a tornado warning here because we're seeing a lot of rotation become tighter and tighter right here, right where our hook is. So I would say we're probably seeing a tornado situation take place here, or what will be a tornado situation. No cape lowering yet, or maybe a little bit, but hard to say. This would definitely be a rain-wrapped tornado, which would be very difficult to work with, obviously. If we look at the base velocity, see, on base velocity, it's all green, so you'd say there's nothing going on, but then it's when we look at the storm relative velocity, that's when we see that there obviously is a lot of velocity, as I have to do this. Didn't load in properly. Yeah, definitely some rotation. Still pretty broad, but we'll take a look as this heads on. We can tell if it's on the ground usually. We can look at our correlation coefficient. And typically we would see this showing up as greens and blues if there is a tornado on the ground. And at this point, there is not any greens or blues. Yellows means a little bit larger objects, maybe some very small hail or little bits of leaves in the air could do that. So it doesn't take a lot to make yellows. It's the greens and the blues. That's where you're starting to pick up, oh, this might actually be like, shingles or even bigger objects. So that's why that's a really good tool to use to pick up on these tornadoes when they're taking place. But this one, maybe I can put a track on this one. We can see if this one's going to head towards Valdosta or not. I just turned on the tracks. Let's see. I would say it's going to head towards Valdosta, yeah. So we're going to be on the lookout for Valdosta. If anybody's in Valdosta, let us know. If I'm even saying that right. We don't see any debris yet. Tornadoes in Florida seem normal. Well, it happens from time to time. This time of year would be the time of year that we see outbreaks, or not outbreaks. I wouldn't say this is an outbreak, but we see events like this that take place that do bring the threat just because of that's where the cold air and warm air are interacting mostly this time of year. Tests, I don't know how much of a correlation there is between those two things happening, but I can tell you that when we do have a warmer March, that typically would make us have an earlier start to the severe weather, and that's what we're looking at. So a more mild March would tell us that we would see more severe weather potentially. And right, this one, if it is going to drop a tornado, still has a long way to go south of Quitman. We're going to need to see that velocity become a lot closer. We want to see the lighter green. If the lighter green was like right here, that would be like, okay, we have a tornado. But and that can happen very quickly in a matter of minutes. So we do want to take this situation very seriously, obviously. As we look at the shear, we can see that that's been coming together for a while now. Getting closer and closer. So we're going to definitely have to watch that. Yeah. Definitely going to keep an eye on this. I'm waiting for us to get another frame here. I think they usually wait to issue a tornado watch. They want to see more take place as far as supercell activity. They want to see them develop, and then they'll put out the watch once they see the storms that have the potential to drop. And so far, we are seeing some storms that do have tornado potential developing at this point. Near Jacksonville as well, we're seeing these cells earlier. So we'll take another look just to see what's going on at this point. These ones aren't looking quite as supercellular. Even though any storm can drop a tornado, these ones are looking like we have some positive news. There is some very, very broad rotation, but really nothing imminent there, which is obviously very good news. We see these thunderstorms developing far to the south, and those are going to move up north, and we're going to eventually see those become kind of what is our current threat. I want to move to the Tallahassee radar, see if we can see anything along Route 19 here developing. That would be an area where we start to see thunderstorms developing and then moving north into our more unstable areas. S. Cargo said, thank you so much for doing these lives. You were just in Valdosta, and now you're in Macon. Thanks for stopping in. I love doing these for you guys, so... Yeah, so we do have some thunderstorm development going on down south, but really nothing severe down here, I guess is what you could say. There's nothing really severe popping off yet. It's mostly north of the Florida-Georgia border is where we're seeing these thunderstorms that look like they have high potential to do something soon. Down here in these hilly regions of Georgia. I believe they're hilly regions. I don't think I've ever been there, but... Okay, we did get another frame, and all of a sudden this one is looking a little bit more dangerous. Here, I want to look again at our storm relative velocity, and yeah, this one's really rapidly becoming more dangerous here, I would say. More and more rotation right there. Definitely wouldn't be surprised if we do get a tornado warning here soon. We definitely have some shear. Definitely have the velocity, so it's really just going to be about watching this one. In a couple frames, we could see a tornado warning. We're seeing a little bit of an error there in our radar, so that makes it difficult, obviously, when we see that happen. But yes, this one is looking intense. Right now, it doesn't really have a nice V structure yet. We don't always need it. I think it's going to pass to the south of Valdosta. Thankfully, maybe it'll hit less populated areas with or without a tornado, obviously. Let's draw on here first off. See how we only have like one major area of high precipitation? I can see where the second one is trying to set up, but really we're not seeing too much of a V structure. And that's really where we're seeing the inflow, and then we usually would see a hook develop here, and we're seeing that start to happen in this area, which is concerning because these are the beginning stages of a supercell, even though this one isn't really classic. I wouldn't say this has a classic look to it, but definitely a situation we need to take seriously because it's the first one that really has that look that can drop something. It's getting more of a hook to it, which means we are seeing it develop in a direction of looking more dangerous rather than less dangerous. And you can see that second area of the V trying to bow outward. It's trying to get its structure together. Let's see. Somebody said, what is the velocity right now? Here's base velocity. This storm is moving very quickly, so it's better to use storm relative velocity. Let's see. That's very close together at this point. We're seeing 20 mile per hour up against 30 mile per hour. What we're seeing is this is moving this way. This is moving this way. And in turn, we're seeing these supercell or this rotation in this direction, somewhere in this region, this area right here. And that's basically what's going on right now. Okay. So we'll watch that. I mean, even from this standpoint, I can tell this is a pretty classic look. Again, something like this. And then like this, we have rotation in this area. All right. Hopefully that makes a lot of sense. Definitely has a bit of a hook. So this is looking more and more likely to be tornadic. I would say we're going to probably see a tornado warning in a second for this one. In 1 or 2 frames. These storms are moving very quickly, very, very quickly. I'm thinking by time we're about dinner time, I would say 4 or 5 p.m., most of the severe weather is going to kind of be died down. So we only have about an hour or 2 to work with here. Definitely, that's our only real supercell that we have on screen right now. I think that might be our only real threat for severe weather imminently that I can see anywhere going on currently. I'm going to take a look at Tallahassee. I guess there is a kind of stronger small cell right there near Monticello. That one could develop into something later on. I'll keep looking back at that one. That one has kind of the look, if you will. Let's look at Jacksonville and then north of Jacksonville. We were seeing some more of our potent thunderstorms were around the coastal Georgia region earlier, and they're not there right now. A lot of times the news stations don't update people until there's actually a tornado warning, so we'll have to wait and see if that ends up happening here. But what you can do to help this reach more people is like it. If you like the stream, I can see we're already at 100 likes, or 118, which is really good news, but that actually tells the algorithm to share the live stream with more people. So by doing that, you can kind of do your part to help more people get reached out about this. Here's our gust front we were talking about earlier. We see these thunderstorms rapidly intensifying here north of Jacksonville. Those ones are all of a sudden looking really potent, so we'll watch those closely. And then also south of Brunswick, these ones aren't really looking tornadic, I wouldn't say. Now near Folkestone and in between Woodbine and Brunswick, we are seeing, again, that kind of line of thunderstorms, no real rotation. So the only area of real rotation we're seeing is here near Valdosta. Wow, no news stations are talking about this? Oh, we got another frame here, guys. I think. Maybe? Let's see. Yeah, we do have some pretty broad rotation. That's going to need to come together if we are going to see a tornado, obviously, from this situation. But it definitely has a hook. Oh, we didn't get a new frame. Right there. Right in between there. We're going to be watching that closely. It would pass south of Valdosta. Oh, wait a second. That frightened me because I saw the blue and the green, but let me see if that's actually underneath our rotation. No, I think that's something else. That frightened me for a second. When I saw the green and the blue, that usually is a bad look. Ooh, we did get our tornado watch here. That's probably going to come in our next frame. That's usually what happens, so... Definitely this one's coming together right now before our eyes. Wow, yeah, this one is looking pretty. Let's see. Let's look at wind shear. Definitely not perfect yet. I don't think it's ready to drop anything. Definitely going to take a while. And, you know, these things are 50-50. When we see a situation like this, I would say it's about 50-50 whether we see a tornado actually occur or if it just kind of fizzles out. But this one's definitely going to need a tornado warning soon, because if it keeps at least developing in this direction, because its chance for dropping a tornado at some point is going up and up and up. So we'll have to watch it closely. Waiting for another frame to come in. That's the story of my life, though. Yeah, we have watches on, so if we did get one, it would show up. Let's see. Did we get another frame there? No. We had one at 2:35 and then 2:41, so we're gonna have to wait a couple minutes probably. I'm using WSV3. It's just zoomed in where you can't see the real, I guess, program up at the top. You're only seeing the results of the radar. But, yeah, really good program. Highly recommend it. That was at 2:30, 2:35, and 2:41. So this one's rapidly looking more and more intense with every frame, which is obviously bad news. Valdosta is just getting slammed with precipitation here on the back end of this one. Usually those areas to the north of the hook and to the northeast of the hook have a lot of precipitation and a lot of hail in a lot of cases as well. We had a severe thunderstorm warning issued. Is that this county? I bet it's this one. I'm going to activate live scan. I don't know why I haven't had that on. It gives us... Oh. Wow. That's only 4 minutes. It's transferred its precipitation that much. I don't know why it just looked so different for a second there. Guess because I switched it to live scan. But yeah, we'll take another look at our precipitation here. Or sorry, our velocity. The velocity thankfully looks to have fizzled out a lot in the recent minutes. A lot more broad, so we're gonna get past Valdosta safely, it looks like. I'm looking for that severe thunderstorm warning that somebody mentioned. It doesn't look like... I can't see it anywhere, at least. Okay, so apparently we're gonna get a severe thunderstorm warning there. Let's see. I'll go on my radar scope, which has more updated information. Yeah, there is one down there near Valdosta. Let me read what it says. It was at 246. I don't know why I don't have... There you go. I just had to click it again. But yeah, there's our severe thunderstorm warning. We could read actually what it says. Tornado possible. That's interesting. Did it say that on the official warning, or is that just a WSV3 thing? Let me read it. 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Expect damage to roof sidings and trees. Tornado possible. Hail is under 3/4 of an inch. And then 60 mile per hour. So they think that tornadoes are possible with this cell, which is kind of obvious, but nevertheless, it is interesting to hear them mention that in the severe thunderstorm warning note. This one up to the north is also looking a little bit intense, so we'll watch that one closely. Let's put it back in motion. So we're seeing this one develop rapidly. It looks like it kind of cycled a little bit. Vermont Rail fan is from High Direct Weather from Vermont. How's it going? That's what I think so too. I think it's cycling. It looked a little weaker for a frame or two, and now it's kind of coming back. So, wow, we have a lot of people from Valdosta. Say something in the chat if you're from this region near Valdosta. I'm curious how many people are in the stream from that region. Let's take another look here at our storm relative velocity. Yeah, there we go. It looks like it's making a comeback a little bit. Maybe in this region. I think if we're going to have a cell that becomes a really nice supercell, it's probably going to be this one at this point. It's the front runner for that. But nevertheless, our first severe thunderstorm warning here since we've been doing the stream. So exciting stuff there. I'm very curious what the next couple of frames are going to look like. What was our most previous frame? 46. Yeah. From 241 to 246, it ended up looking a lot more intense. So we'll see what that next frame comes in like. But yeah, we just got our severe thunderstorm warning. For that one, Valdosta, Naylor, Lake Park, all involved in this one. Let's see if we can get other names for some towns in here. No, it doesn't look like we can. But Lake Park, Naylor, and Valdosta, generally those regions and surrounding regions are mostly included in this cell here. Is it 246? Okay, we still haven't gotten another one. I thought we did for a second there. Yeah, this yellow region around here is our severe thunderstorm warning. So, Valdosta, Georgia is seeing a bad thunderstorm right now, possibly a supercell. In comparison to our main risk for tornadoes, you can see it's actually in there for our highest risk region here for tornadoes. We're going to see these storms move through this region. This is where we have the most instability, the most shear, all of the components that a tornado would require. That's where it's most favorable. Let's see here. I guess we can look at some of the other cells if we don't get any more frames. Let's see. Let's head over back to the Jacksonville site and take a look at some of these. I would be curious to see if we do... Oh, we did get some damaging wind reports down here. Maybe that was with our gust front. Our gust front is all the way over there. When were those? Oh, way earlier. 12 p.m., then 1 p.m. Over here, we had one at 1 p.m. So we've been having a lot of wind throughout the day. But we have some pretty bad thunderstorms moving into the Jacksonville area, actually. We have them developing to the south of Jacksonville. So Jacksonville, you're about to get slammed with some multicellular thunderstorms down here. Not looking like supercells at this point, which is good news, obviously. We are seeing some storms up here to the north that we've been watching that kind of have that look of maybe wanting to be kind of supercells. Let's take a look at what we're seeing on that storm relative velocity. And yeah, not really seeing any rotation there, which is good news. Let's move back to our Valdosta cell because we've probably gotten a new update here. Vermont, you know, I don't know if Vermont's going to see any snow from that outside of maybe some snow showers. But at this point, it's not really looking likely that we see a snowstorm that moves that far onshore. And we did get another frame here. That was at 246 and then 252. Let's see what our rotation is looking like at this point in this one. Yes, and we do have some pretty tight rotation there. We're going to get another frame here coming in live. I think so. I think we are at least. Just trying to load in more. Well, I'll just turn live skin off because it's acting up a little bit. Well, that didn't work out. What's going on here? I don't know why every time I turn on live scan, it always changes so much. We've seen this one shift all the way down here, and we are seeing this get really close to the radar site, so we're actually going to see some problems as far as not being able to visualize what's going on here. But we have seen the storm move further north, and it's really just becoming very sloppy. Its potential has pretty much died down for this area. If I look at the shear, well, there's some right up against each other, but really the chance for a tornado at this point, and this one has decreased for the moment being, which is obviously good news. It still has that supercell look. Miguel, yeah, we have been talking about how this risk won't really last too long, I don't think. As soon as it reaches the ocean, it's pretty much done. We did have some wind reports down here earlier as well. (1 p.m., 1:35 p.m.) I have not heard anything about a tornado watch. It could come in on our next frame, though. That happens sometimes. I can check on my phone, though. We have no watches in effect yet, so no, we don't have one. I'm also going to take a look at our storm reports for today. Again. And my WSV3 keeps saying that we have seen storm reports, but I really am only seeing one official one. We've seen this severe thunderstorm warning be they've shrunk it down. We're also seeing maybe another hook here near our radar site. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens when that gets away from our radar site. That'll give us the full story, but for now, it's gonna be difficult to tell. Thankfully, our main hook echo here isn't going to move over directly over the radar site, so hopefully we'll get kind of a high definition, high resolution look at this the whole time. Miguel, no, there hasn't been any tornadoes yet today. There's only been one official storm report, and it was actually in Alabama. So far, our main severe weather risk area hasn't seen too much action yet. Let's see. Did that just update? It's been quite a few minutes since we've seen a radar update, so hopefully we'll get one in just a second here. This one for a while now has been trying to develop into something that resembles a supercell, but just cannot get its act together whatsoever. What's going on, Arctis? Yeah, definitely we do have a lot of rain out in the area. Let's see if we can get another frame here. Ooh, did we just get another frame here? Here's where we're at right now. I can see how this could easily turn into look more like a supercell right here. But as of right now, it just looks like really strong winds. We would need some to show up right about there, and it's just not happening, not at all. Stronger shear, closer together. Yeah, as we get closer to the radar site, there is sometimes areas where it kind of overestimates or maybe sometimes also underestimates stuff within this area that looks very weird. Because you could say it's very satisfying looking to me, actually. Um, I don't know how to explain the way it looks, but yeah. So as you get closer to that, there is some inaccuracies. What cell are they looking at on the Weather Channel? Are they looking at this one near Valdosta? Denise, I don't know what county you live in, so I mean, it would be kind of hard for me to show you. Or your country? Do we have a tornado watch? Everybody keeps saying stuff about a tornado watch, but I still haven't seen one. You said, could this be a supercell? Yeah, very easily. It had times where it really does look like one, and now it just kind of looks like a multicellular storm. The more it gets that hook at the end, the more convinced I will be that it's more of a supercell type system. No, there isn't. I just checked again. I'm gonna turn on our CAPE here, which is our convective available potential energy. See if we can't see. Oh, there it went. Yeah, so we do have a lot of instability, especially near Tallahassee, and then just to the south of the Florida-Georgia border, all the way up and down Florida. Actually, so the interesting thing is now this storm used to be where there was a lot of CAPE, and now it's moving to where there's hardly any. So I'm wondering if we're going to see some of that development pretty much stall out or come to an end as it just heads out of where there's just less potential. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and turn that off. I'm going to go back to Jacksonville and then back to Tallahassee. So I'm going to take a look at both here. Parker Copeland, thanks for coming back again and being a part of our second stream here. Jacksonville is getting a pretty good licking from those thunderstorms we were looking at earlier that I said were going to come through. And we actually, that was earlier. But we do have a pretty hefty storm developing right over Jacksonville in the greater Jacksonville area. St. Mary's as well about to get hit pretty good by a stronger thunderstorm here. We see that gust front heading south. If you're in Jacksonville or the surrounding area, you actually might get a pretty gusty area of wind where that gust front is coming through. That usually brings really gusty conditions. CAPE is convective available potential energy. And really, it's not from necessarily a couple hours ago. I would say it's more recent than a couple hours ago. I think it updates like every hour. So Convective available potential energy Cape. Yep. So yeah, this one's weakening a lot on that southern side there. On the northern end, we're still keeping a pretty hefty thunderstorm. It'd be interesting to see this one transfer to where we see more of a hook down here, and then kind of integrated supercell type look. But really, we just have a very, very intense, hefty multicellular thunderstorm setting up just to the east of Valdosta. I don't think we're going to get anything to happen today, guys. It's more like a river. Here in Jacksonville, we do have a pretty hefty thunderstorm coming through there. St. Mary's as well. We have one to the south heading through. This is an area of concern, or the main area of concern, actually. Interesting development going on here. The tornado risk for today. So go ahead and take a break from having the radar on screen. Let's take a look at that tornado risk, actually, and this is the probability of tornado. In our green area, we have... Okay, so they just actually shrunk it as we were speaking. But we see a 2% chance within this area, Brunswick. We see Gainesville, Palm Coast, all in that. And then we have our yellow area, which is 5%. There from Valdosta to Jacksonville, Lakeside. All of these areas in the yellow are 5% regions, which is what we call slight chance, basically, for tornadoes here, as our severe weather risk is currently shrinking. We're seeing the end of these storms, so as it heads from west to east, we're going to see that risk completely diminish as well. Don't know why that... Yeah, there we go. That severe thunderstorm warning was holding on for a long time there. This one looks to be intensifying again as it heads past the radar site. Look at how fast this one's moving, guys. Each frame is about a minute. So in a matter of about 10 minutes, it's moved completely across the radar site there. But you can tell our main thunderstorm here is completely become much less intense. Wow, and our thunderstorms there for Jacksonville, I guess like the entire area here looks very intense, especially if you're on the west side of Jacksonville. Very heavy rain falling there near Interstate 10 and the intersection with 295 and 10 there as well. We're seeing major thunderstorms there. To the east, not so much. The east side of Jacksonville looking at some maybe lighter thunderstorms to showers, heavier showers, lighter thunderstorm type deal. St. Mary's, if you're to the east of St. Mary's, we're having a pretty hefty thunderstorm as well. Up north, not as much going on. It's mostly our Homerville, Valdosta thunderstorm here, which is looking the most intense. That looks like our only chance for tornadoes here today, and probably going to end up being our only supercell, I would say, at this point, is a safe guess. Going to look once again near Tallahassee, because we did see a lot of CAPE in that area, convective available potential energy, indicating that probably is our highest risk region for some new thunderstorm development as of right now. We do see some thunderstorms, general thunderstorms there for Tallahassee there. You can see heavier showers, maybe some heavy thunderstorms in there. Tallahassee's been getting hit all day, so nothing Florida people aren't used to, but yeah, definitely some thunderstorms in the area. We're going to switch back to our Valdosta radar site so we can take a look at our more supercellular thunderstorm here that we have going on. We're going to have to wait and see. This one's almost forming into more of a bow echo than a hook echo. Definitely a big wind risk here, I would say, is the biggest risk with this one. Let's take a look at that velocity. Not too windy, actually. When you look at storm relative velocity, it's pretty clear there's basically no rotation at the moment. Yeah, pretty much nothing. So this one's gone from looking like a supercell to pretty much a much less intense storm. We'll have to see what happens. These ones can quickly switch on a dime, though. So it's not completely over at this point, but definitely it's weakened quite a bit, and it's heading into an area that is not very populated whatsoever. Mostly looks like woods and swamplands in there. So hardly any action for that region. Let's see here. We're going to keep an eye on this one because obviously this is our most severe thunderstorm we have in the whole area. Let's see. I'm going to read some of these comments again. This one's definitely intensifying again here. We saw our severe thunderstorm warning end, but it's kind of bowing out, as you can see, creating more of a risk for straight line winds as this one is moving very quickly. It's going to be heading towards Route 441 there in Florida. Fargo, Homerville being impacted actually right now up there in Georgia. More of the reds popping up, indicating heavier areas of precipitation, especially in the darker reds. This isn't really a website, it's a program. It's called WSV3. We're seeing just to the east of the radar site a lot of heavy precipitation coming out of this one. Really interesting stuff here. Our last radar update was at about 3:12, so we're probably about to get one soon. Oh, we just got one at 3:15. Looks like it might have some little areas that are concerning in there. And not too much, it doesn't look like. Right there is an area of concern, obviously. It's kind of got a little bit of a hook echo look to it. Very heavy precipitation, though, nevertheless. I am mostly worried about rotation at this point for this one. As my radar is completely going ballistic. Oh, there we go. It was looking crazy. Keeps updating this. It's acting up. There you go. Let's see. Yeah, not too much velocity though, which is good news, obviously. So it might just be some sort of anomalous thing. It's probably not an actual hook, even though it had a very classic look to it of an integrated supercell for a second there. Probably nothing. Yeah, Valdosta just got hit pretty hard by this cell. Somebody said, is this popcorn or squall line? Well, you're seeing some popcorn cells all over the place, or what we call pulse is a more professional term, but I have heard the term popcorn storms as well. And then this one's more like integrated supercells inside of a bow echo squall line type storm. So yes, we see both types, I guess. I'm actually gonna have to get off soon, guys, because I actually have plans to be somewhere around 5, so I'm gonna have to hop off at some point and start to get ready to leave. Andrew's weather predictions just showed up. What's up, man? Watching these thunderstorms. Not too much severe weather going on here, so that's good news. I don't think we're going to have too much action today. It's looking generally like there's some good news to be had, as for the most part, we're not seeing too much severe weather. Vermont Rail Fan 555. Yeah, I am very excited for like more moderate to high risk severe weather events as well as enhanced risks. I've been doing these for slight weather risks and they've been very fun. But once there's higher risks for severe weather, it's going to be a lot easier to just keep talking because there's always going to be something to talk about. And these streams for the slight risk ones, it's like at times it's exciting, and then other times there's just like I'm having to come up with stuff to talk about. Yeah, it's a tornado watch, I think is possible. Christy W., thank you so much for watching and for the kind words as well. Let's take a look. Ooh, we just got another frame here too. I was hearing to the south of the front was where our biggest chances, but so far to the north of the warm front is where we have our most intense thunderstorms setting up. That was the word earlier today. There's a low pressure system over the panhandle of Florida over there. They turn our fronts back on too. That's cool. We have a cold front wrapped behind. And then there's our stationary front there, where pretty much everything's training along it. Let's see here. Yeah, definitely some damaging wind going on along this one. And we see those lighter reds along our area where our bow is. So I'd say this one's bowing out and creating definitely some damaging wind potential. I want to see if there's any rotation along this. We see that sometimes. at points in storms like this, but no, there doesn't look to be too much rotation. These types of storms create very quick spin-up tornadoes sometimes, but that's about it. Yeah, Miguel, I mean, that could be said, but then at the same time, we saw what happened in Tennessee. So if I had nothing going on this afternoon, I was like, hey, I'll just go live and talk about the little bits of severe weather just in case something pops off. I mean, worst case, I get to interact with you guys. So, I mean, it was fun and worth it in my opinion. Yeah, we did have a lot of severe weather back in July and February. Uh, Gieserman, I've actually been working on that about getting the frames. I had to re-download what's the program? Geo Level X, which is another program that I don't like quite as much as this one, but it's a one-time purchase, so I did used to own it. So I went ahead and downloaded that again, and I'm working on getting those frames in the coming days so I can make a video talking about what happened in Nashville and Tennessee. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun to go over that with you guys. I love looking back at these cells that happen, especially I used to go back and look at like Joplin, Moore, El Reno, and that always like was obviously something I was like addicted to doing. I thought it was so cool. But I thought it would be a good opportunity to kind of just go over the weather situations that took place with you guys during very severe weather events, obviously. Especially. Where's that? Homerville? South of Homerville? Now look at KDP. That's not it. I heard EF3, but people were saying EF4 actually recently. They think they updated it to an EF4. So we'll see. Sorry, mean estimated size of hail. I was wondering why that was acting up. It doesn't look like we have much, unless this isn't loaded in, which I can never tell. So we have about 60% chance of hail right there, but really not too much hail size being picked up right now. There's our bow echo. The more this one bows out, the more chance we have for damaging wind and the less chance we have for tornadic activity, unless we saw it in this kink area right there, which I want to watch closely because we see that a lot too, where we would see one potentially up there. So let me just check this out. We do have a bit of rotation developing. That might be something to watch here for the next little while. As on the north end, that looks like an integrated supercell. Could be trying to form up here. Also, we might see one on the south end sometimes, but in this case, the north one looks a lot better. You always look for those kinks in there. Oops. Yeah, I want to be watching up here. Yep, I don't think that's going to happen. So, we're in good shape. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to have to get out of here because I have, again, plans, unfortunately, that I got to attend to soon. Thanks, Dave, for the kind words. That means a lot. Yeah, I'm not really feeling like this one could potentially do something here in the future, but imminently, I'm not thinking so. So that's what I was gonna figure out before I decided to get off. But I got to get ready. I got to get a shower and everything before I go. Somewhere around 5. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for being a part of this stream. I'm looking forward to the future events of Little Bits of Severe Weather where we can do streams like this and be together. If you haven't subscribed already, be sure to, because we're going to be doing more of these throughout the spring and summer months. So be sure to be a part of that. It's going to be a whole lot of fun to interact with you guys and just be able to talk about weather. Vermont Rail fan, thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate it a lot, everybody. Again, be sure to subscribe. You can always be a part of the future streams. I'd love to have you there. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video or stream.